So it's Thursday. It's time for you to join us as we take a look at the front pages of the newspapers. Feel free to dial the number right there on the screen and share with us what your thoughts are on the stories we are about to unearth, or better still, look at from the front pages of the newspapers. Let's start off with our very first paper this morning and break it down the best way possible that we can. Our first paper is Daily Independent. That's our very first paper. It says, telecom tariff hike. Telecom tariff hike. Labour to stage nationwide protest February 4. Cautions federal government, NCC, NAS to hold implementation. Anyway.
Yes. I mean, this is expected, like we said earlier during the program, that, I mean, is this the right way to go? And let's see how this plays out.
Absolutely. There's another story there on the Daily Independent at the bottom right. It's got to do with the PDP again, but this time it's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar who's talking tough. He says President Tinubu embodies essence of desperation. President Tinubu embodies essence of desperation. In the article, I think I stumbled on this article. Was it yesterday night? He said the policies show that, you know, the current administration is trying all it can just to, you know, possibly in the simple terms to prove a point.
A positive point, or
yeah,
what kind
to
of
just
point?
prove a point. They just want to prove a point that, oh, you know what, we are working and so on. I'm just trying to put it in the simple, you know, terms, especially for all to understand. But he said it's not in the Gen Z language. It's not giving.
It's trying its best, but it's not giving.
It's not giving.
It's not getting there.
It's not giving. So hence why you have, he says it reeks of desperation. That's what he said in that article. So let's see another one. Damagum Wabara blasts PDP leaders, NWC over party crisis. We just talked about, you know, the PDP at length. In case you missed it, you might want to go on YouTube and possibly tap on the rewind, and you would get to see that interview with Segun Showumi just a few minutes ago. Last story I'm going to take on the front page of the Daily Independent. Let's see. Max Air suspension, airline right to have grounded operations. NCAA needs change of approach, experts say. And it was very, very surprising that this story wasn't flashed fully on the headlines, but it was kept very, very on a hush-hush. Let's put it that way. It was kept very quiet because it would have led to a national disaster as well, especially with the flight carrier, Max Air. But then again, experts are talking about what happened.
Exactly. Something as big as that, you expect it to be headline or should be very prominent in the front pages of newspapers, and there's hardly any talks about it.
You know, that's where we have a challenge as well. You see, we need to do more. We need to do more, especially from the angle of storytelling. Well, APC chieftain confirms Aregbesola's expulsion over anti-party activities. If you've been following Aregbesola very closely, you would also be aware that he has made it clear he's not a supporter of the current administration. He has talked tough against the current administration. There were indeed statements made that he's engaging in anti-party activities. He was, on the other hand, you know, working for the PDP while he was still retaining his position as the APC member. But these conversations are ones that may have, you know, sprung up this official and final statement coming from the APC that he has been, you know, expelled from the party. But let's see where he's going to go to. Is he going to bid or pitch his tent with the PDP? And, you know, would you really want to pitch your tent with the PDP with what you saw or what you're seeing recently?
Or maybe start his own political party. Who knows? Who knows?
I only remember him for that, you know, anytime we have national holiday, or there's a, you know, the pictures with the two fingers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
You know.
When he was interior minister
Yeah.
in the last administration of President Buhari.
That's what I can remember him for. But then again, these are the stories we're going to take on Daily Independent front page. Let's go to another one.
Punch. Okay. The Punch newspaper, the headlines there, I mean, I think a lot of the newspapers can't miss this. It's the Royal Rumble, the WWE scenes we witnessed at the PDP headquarters yesterday. PDP governors plan summit as leaders exchange blows at BOT meeting, like the PDP chieftain we just spoke to, Shega Shomi, said quite disgraceful scenes yesterday. And the writer says party restrains warring factional secretaries from performing duties, and APC mocks opposition leader. I mean, Joe, you expect them to capitalize on this. You're exposing yourself by behaving in such a way. And of course, the ruling party would milk and get the best out of it. There's also a headline there: injunctive order against Obiagbena, GHL others stay, says First Bank Council. We'll continue to monitor that development there. And also there's talking about NNPP woos Aregbesola. I guess the Punch is trying to answer your question, Joe. When you said, where's Aregbesola going to? NNPP, he is a political heavyweight. Some might term it as that in Osun State. So the NNPP is saying, look, we could use this as an inroad into the Southwest. And, you know, all sorts of political calculations and machinations are going on towards 2027, even though we're still in the first quarter of 2025. I guess that's how politics works. Expulsion: NNPP woos Aregbesola, APC disowns Oyetola's governor's posters. Interesting. And that sad incident we see, it could have been worse, but thank God the danger was averted and no reports of injuries or loss of life. Max Air, federal government suspend airline, plans to audit orders. So I believe this is coming. It's a laudable and commendable development, because aviation safety should be paramount. And as we speak, this morning there was a plane crash in the United States in Washington. American Airlines over the Potomac River collided with a military helicopter. I'm sure you get details of that in our bulletins as we proceed. Now, JAM suspends law admission in Kwasu, Redeemers Varsity, 6 others. You know, the law is a very, that's why they call themselves, it's a noble profession. So if you're going to study law in university, I guess the Nigeria Legal Council, the Nigeria Universities Commission have certain criteria they use to accredit certain programs in schools. So I guess that's why JAM has suspended. It was probably a directive from one of those bodies for JAM to suspend admission in these universities. I guess because of the quality of the lawyers they've been producing. I guess, like they say, the devil is in the detail. If you want to find out more on that, get a copy of today's Punch. Police kill 5 kidnappers, recover 5.2 million in Ogun State. So much is happening in Ogun State these days, Joe. Just last week, the wife of a former AIG was kidnapped, and thankfully she returned back safely, and the police were able to recover some of the ransom money. And lastly, from the Punch newspapers, Gani Adams faults Sultan for backing Sharia in the Southwest.
Okay. Anyway, I think one of the stories that's very interesting here is this still on Aregbesola. Don't forget that the NNPP, we did have the spokesperson, national spokesperson Jonas yesterday, Ladipo Johnson, and he did talk about how the NNPP is under attack. Aregbesola is about leaving a political party that, in a way, he is not in tandem with, which is the APC, and they've accused him of, you know, working for the PDP as well. There's a slight difference here if you look at this scenario. Aregbesola moving to another party would actually mean a lot. And what do I mean by that? Don't forget that the same thing he's being accused of is what FCT minister is equally being accused of. But you see that there are different levels to this.
Yes.
Okay, one party accused him and showed by example that he showed him the door out and told him leave. That's a difference. while the other one have accused a party member, so-called a pillar of the party, as he likes to refer to himself, that he set up the structure, and he has a very strong structure in that party. But one thing they've not done is they've not been able to show him the door out. But we asked Segun Showumi, he said, I mean, I wanted to, you know, go in for a rebuttal and also ask more questions, but, you know, because of time, Segun said, but Mr. Showumi said that he thinks it's high time the media stops asking that question as regards what is the PDP doing to its
I mean, because it erodes internal discipline, party discipline.
That's it.
Blatant and brazen anti-party activity.
That's it. You know, they usually say the proverbial way is the first cane you used to beat the first wife is the same cane that you would keep that you used to beat the second wife. But in the case of the PDP, if we bring it down, I mean, as journalists and looking at it carefully, trying to juxtapose what's really going on, if you bring it back, you will see that the PDP has not even used its cane. It hasn't used the cane on anybody. In this instance now, the first wife who has, in quotes, committed any form of disloyalty in the party happens to be former governor of Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike. But it doesn't look like they've even used the cane.
They're using what they call a sit-down look approach. Let's wait it out. Let's wait and see.
So
maybe he's a double agent. Who knows?
But like you know, I mean, the governor has not, in his last media chart, he didn't hide, even the previous one, he didn't hide his sentiments for APC. He said he was working for them. He said that. He ensured that the current president actually won the votes back then in the South, especially
while
in
still a card-carrying member of the People's
He said that. He said he was going to work for them. Now, that's just one case. But another question, which, I mean, you posed to them in line with, don't forget, we're looking at this entire Aregbesola situation, trying to put it between, trying to lay it bare and see how it works in different parties, and would also mean a lot concerning how he moves.
So where does the NNPP come in here?
Beautiful. So while I'm wrapping up the PDP's instance, you also might want to look at it that if the PDP could not or cannot still, in quotes, punish or show the door to one who they term to have a political affiliation with the APC, how do you think they will be able to punish those who were kicking the doors yesterday? Because if you didn't use the cane on the first wife in this instance, you dare not use it on the second.
The argument would be they're two different matters.
No, they've committed, see, it doesn't matter. The difference is one is physical, you can see it. The other one, in short, the other one is even stronger than the physical, because the other one is eating like termites deeply into the foundations the fabrics of the party as well.
Now, talking about the NNPP win Aregbesola, I mean, the NNPP is...
They also have
their own internal crisis, exactly.
Yeah.
There are talks of somebody using a secondary school logo as the national party logo, you know, all sorts of things. It seems like a lot of the parties, opposition parties in Nigeria are in disarray. Some feel, you know, there's more to it, that it's probably a plot by the ruling party to infiltrate, you know, and cause all this destabilization, so they won't be organized or focused enough to challenge them in 2027. But like someone said, you know, you put your house in order. You can't be blaming external people. It's your house at the end of the day, and time is running out. It's the beauty of democracy to have viable oppositions. True. And all these shenanigans that are happening, it doesn't augur well for the quality of our discussion, for the quality of representation, and the quality of democracy.
I agree with you. I mean, there was also a rumor at some point that there seems to have been, or there are moles who have been placed into each political party. But then again, if you really look at it from a critical point of view, every morning we come here on Breakfast Central and we are inundated with stories about, you know, I'm going to talk about this in a bit, but let's take a call. We do have a caller. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, brother.
Good morning.
I want to talk. I want to understand what this NLC, what they are striking for. 9 years ago, if I get these telcos right, it was 9 years ago that they last increased their tariff. As NLC president, How much was rice 9 years ago? How much was fuel 9 years ago? How much was some communities 9 years ago? How much is it today? Why is he not protesting for fuel? Why is he not protesting for other things? Why is it for telcos? So even this thing, all this cable subscription, I can remember last 9 years ago how much I used to subscribe. I know how much I'm subscribing today. Why are they not talking about that one? Why if they are, because I want to understand their line of thoughts. Why are they so bent on this thing? They say they want to shut down the telcos. Are they normal? Are they really, how do they think? Because you can't, like you rightly said, if you can, you cannot use the first wife, you cannot use the second wife. So it's a simple thing.
So, Lenin, why don't we see it this way, if you can hear me? So the NLC, I don't represent them, but let's think, let me play devil's advocate here. The NLC knows you've been paying for fuel, you've been buying bag of rice in the last 9 years, and they know, the average Nigerian has gone through a lot. And they think, this last thing that Nigerians are enjoying, this cheap telephone tariff, cheap in quote, why do they want to increase it? Let's not let them do it. Since we didn't fight for rice, we fought for fuel, but we lost that battle. So the telcos are an easy target. Let's not make people like Lenin pay more for their data and, of course, calls. Don't you think they're taking that last fight to the telcos on behalf of Nigerians? You don't see it that way, that since you've bought rice at high prices and petrol and everything, they should not touch this one that you're enjoying?
I don't see it that way. I'm just saying that they are just. They want to wish on them. That is it. That's how I'm seeing it, because I'm a realist. I'm just seeing that way. Okay, what about when the transfer of when you transfer to all these things, they will remove 550 naira? What about when these Gencos forcefully put everybody in band A? Why didn't they protest? What about when Gencos increased our distance before even this band A came in? They increased the tariff. What did they do?
Anyway, Lenin, I think we get your point. We're also going to look at that story in a bit. But we'll urge all our other callers to feel free to call in and let's know what your thoughts are. Very, very incisive conversation there, especially bringing the NLC to the fore. It's in the Daily Independent, by the way. Telecom tariff hike. The NLC looking to stage a protest nationwide. They call it February 4.
But doesn't seem to be a very popular protest among Nigerians, even though they are fighting for Nigerians.
Yes, I mean, there are very important questions asked and raised. Questions like what Lenin just said. How much was a bag of rice 9 years ago? And how much is the bag of rice now? If anyone would think that you have to fight and would try to put it in a table of preference, and we list it from 1 to 10, let's be honest as Nigerians. What would be the first thing that you're going to come out to protest for? Number one, is it going to be telecom tariff hike, or is it going to be food, cost of living?
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think we have a call from Uyo. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
Morning.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to work in the campaign to pass the
Well, I'm afraid we can't really hear you clearly. You might want to do your best to call us back if you can, but we can't. We're struggling to hear your voice. So, like I was saying, if you're going to list 10 things that you want to protest for, is it really going to be the telecom tariff that you protest for?
Yes.
Because this is what Nigeria, I mean, we're going to go to what Nigerians are saying in a bit and see what, coincidentally, that's what we're looking at, the NLC, the planned protest. We'll see how Nigerians are reacting to it. And today we're going to rate it because we do have our data room. We're going to look at how Nigerians are reacting to this story, and then we're going to rate it accordingly. Number one, are you going to protest about food, the cost of living? Number two, are you going to look at fuel price increase? Don't forget the minimum wage that was fought for, some states have still not paid or are still not paying it.
Implemented, yes.
It's not been implemented. So I've mentioned about three things. That number four, are you also not going to push? You know, there's one major case that seems to lie in the face of the NLC, and you know what that case simply is. It's about the American president pulling out from the WHO. America is the biggest funder of the World Health Organization. Over 1.42 billion naira spent as at last dollars. I beg your pardon. Spent as at last year. Sorry, we have another caller. Hello.
Solomon from Sherry, please go ahead and talk to us.
What's that? I didn't get you.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Solomon, go ahead, please.
Just turn down the volume of your TV set, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm surprised that they are calling for a strike.
Now we're calling for what?
Okay.
Okay, there seems to be a delay, so let's just hold on for Solomon.
Or a protest. I don't know what to...
Yeah, go on. Protest, strike, whichever one.
What to call it. They didn't protest when they increased the electricity bill.
Yeah, go ahead, Solomon.
And now they are telling us that they want to go out to protest for the tariff hike. These people are not serious. I call them another arm of a politician. Because...
Anyway, due to network activity, but I think we'll get the I think we'll get the point. In the list of everything, we also need to add the electricity tariff. True. You know, so we've mentioned about 5. There was no protest in all of these 5. The NLC did not deem it fit to say everybody come out, all the organs of the NLC come out. I was mentioning the World Health Organization as well, where President Trump has pulled out after spending over $1.42 billion, and then, of course, being the biggest funder, followed by Germany and the likes. They've also said they're no longer funding the World Health Organization. What does that mean for Nigeria? It means that the health care, the medical system must work. It must work. So that is where maybe the NLC would have, you know, stood forth and said, listen, everybody, let's take it to the streets. Who is the Minister of Health, the President, everybody come out. Everybody in the National Assembly come out. It's actually going to be the biggest situation that Nigeria would have to deal with, because if there's a health, not just medical, but a generic health pandemic, then we are in for it.
Exactly. You wouldn't even... We have a caller from Niger State. Go ahead and speak to us, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Can you speak up?
The issue of this labor, it is Joe Ajay is really representing Nigerians, or is representing his community people. There are other key things to focus on. Look at what he's focusing on. How can he be focusing on what is it called?
Telecom tariff. Yeah, the hike in telecom tariff.
Electricity. When a lot of Nigerians came out to protest during the, what is it called?
Anyway, I think we get Jibril's point. Seems that the network is not that favorable.
The general sentiment, even from the survey of the calls we've taken so far, is that, you know, what is NLC doing in terms of priority? That this is almost like a joke. And in fairness, I mean, to the telcos, like Lenin said, as a realist, you know the price of energy, they're a business. This sector has been liberalized. They're not a charity. There's not been any, they were actually going for 100% increase, and the government and the regulators said, no, you can't do it, let's do 50%. I believe it's fair, looking at factoring inflation and other issues.
I agree with you. It's a conversation that, so what we're looking at is, as we wrap up the papers, is the NLC an organ of the people, representing the people? Is the NLC an organ of the government?
I mean, the NLC will tell you they're representing the working class. That's why they're the labor Congress, those under the employment of the government. So whatever happens in the private sector, it's not their business. They're only out for their members. So I guess that answers it.
Let's wrap it up with Emmanuel from Ikorodu. Emmanuel, good morning.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello?
We can hear
Morning,
you.
Emmanuel. We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Okay. This protest being proposed by
NLC.
Labour Congress. I am not in support because Labour Congress have lost their salt. I don't think that any Nigerian will come out to join them in that protest. Things are very hard. They are only protesting into their pocket. In fact, they are another arm of political party or another arm of APC government. So once they come out, the government will see them, give them brown envelope. Everybody will just go home and go and cool down. So Nigerians are not going to come out because no Nigerians is ready to die for anything. So that is my take. No Nigerian. I will not come out. My children will not come out. This country is not worth to be dying for. So I wish them good luck. Bye for now.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for calling.
Thank you.
Emmanuel says he would not come out. I can tell you, if you go online, which is what we're going to do next, we're going to take you to Twitter and find out what Nigerians are saying. Well, you'll get to see the reactions from Nigerians, what they're really saying on the social media space. And like I said, from our database we collated this morning, we've been able to put it together and see the percentage of those who are for and those who are against.
I'm looking forward to see what Nigerians are really saying.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, want to thank you so much all for joining us here on the front pages of the papers. Your comments do mean a lot. We've also been able to fill your polls concerning one of the biggest stories on the front pages, which has to do with the NLC calling for a national strike. What's your take? Well, we'll go further with that particular story and find out what Nigerians are saying on the social media space, X to be particular, and that will be after this break. So do well to stay with us.